Welcome back, and you're watching Closing Trades here on ET Now. One sector or space which has been under some bit of pressure is the defense space. Nilesh, of course, some of the numbers on the fundamental side didn't really add up. There was a Cochin Shipyard, among others, including an HAL, which has caused some bit of pressure on some of those names. A good opportunity to buy, you reckon, at this point for a temporary reprieve bounce back, if at all that is possible?
Well, Harsh, absolutely. Yesterday we saw a slightly poor set of numbers from HAL. Then today we are witnessing a rebound, and similar is the case with Cochin Shipyard as well. But I believe these are the good opportunities. Specifically, HAL looks positive to me given the kind of structure it is panning out. 4600 is acting as a very strong support. Keeping that as a stop loss long position can be initiated at current level. We are expecting a pullback move towards 4900 to 5100. So these are the two immediate target on the upside. Cochin Shipyard, I would rather wait for some bit of a reversal candle, but yes, HL can be accumulated.
Alchem, that's a pretty active stock today. That's, of course, sharply reacted, I think, only to its numbers, was holding out in the green, and then there's been a sharp slide thereof. Stock down 1.5% right now. In fact, want to see what some of the other pharma contenders as well are up to, and where is it that you are seeing meaningful moves, if any. Let's bring up the likes of a Sun Pharma, Oro Pharma, etc. And then, of course, the other players within the CDMO space, like an Oro Pharma. Let's check in on a Gland Pharma as well. Oro holding very strong, 2.25% higher. Gland Pharma is the other one, which will also just come up for you on your screens, lying pretty quiet right now at about 1836 odd levels. Kunal, Pharma, well, of course, it's been a very, very select story out there. Anything that's looking attractive, any name that's showing leadership within the entire sector?
Yeah, so I think Lupin is something which looks very attractive at current levels. The stock has gone through a major time-wise consolidation, specifically over the last 8 to 9 months, where the stock has been just stuck at this range of 1900 to 2000, broadly thereabouts. But the last couple of days, the last week of momentum for Lupin indicates that the stock is getting ready for a breakout, specifically about this major swing resistance around the 2050 mark for Lupin. So that's an interesting name to look out for. And looking at the volumes, the turn in terms of the indicators, we could be looking at the stock performing really well for itself. Glenmark could be the other stock. And it seems like the stock has come out of a major correction, almost like a 500 to 700 point correction for Glenmark over the last 3 months. At current levels, looks like the stock is forming a double bottom as well as a strong support for a better risk reward trade to take at current zone for the pharma pack.
Okay, so some names in pharma that you want to keep your eye out on. Nikhil Ranka, CIO Equity Alternatives at Nuvama Asset Management, joining us at this hour to talk to us about markets and more. Nikhil, let me first try and get a sense from you, in particular within the pharma basket. Biocon has been particularly active. You believe that justified the kind of moves that the stock has made, and at these valuations still attractive, you reckon?
Good afternoon, Harsh, and thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure.
So if you look at Biocon, Harsh, the key trigger was if you see biosimilar segment, which is the key revenue driver for them. This quarter, there was almost a 300 crores sequential improvement in revenues, and margins have also been fairly strong this quarter. Plus, if you look at the management commentary, they have very clearly guided there are a slew of launches that are lined up for them in that segment. And from here on, every quarter, the guidance is the profitability should keep improving over the next few quarters for them. And on the regulatory side, also for the interchangeability, there has been a lot of regulatory concessions that's been given by US FDA. So all put together, I think the stock still has legs. We can see further 10-15% up move in Biocon, and we have a fair value of closer to 500 rupees for the stock.
Interesting. Okay, that's the take coming in Biocon right now. Asian Paints is the other case in point. That's holding up very smartly today, up about 4% higher. And Harsh, we were talking about the commentary from the management, right? The fact that they still actually see a threat and competition heating up in the sector. They're still not negating the effects of competition within the space. And they're still talking about a very, very subdued kind of guidance, if I can call it that.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers and the guidance painted a slightly divergent picture in comparison, but the stock obviously is doing very well for itself, 4% higher. The sense, of course, is that competition has remained as is, and therefore, at least that is not the reason why we've seen growth. Nikhil, anything that stands out for you to justify the kind of move that we've seen on the stock for the last couple of days? 5% yesterday, nearly 4% again today, so a 10% move in all in 2 days.
So Harsh, on the call, what you said is right. The management did guide that the competitive intensity in the sector still remains very high. And this quarter, there was a benefit of early Diwali in that sense. So a lot of demand, which last year came in Q3, came into Q2 this year. And going forward, they have maintained that EBITDA margin will stay in that band of 18 to 20%. So all put together, you are still seeing an EPS of closer to 55 rupees for FY27. However, what has happened was that given the fact that competitive intensity was very high, a lot of hedge funds had this name as a funding shot for them. And when a double-digit volume growth came this quarter, it took the street by surprise, and there was a lot of short covering that has happened in the name per se. I think closer to 3,000 levels, a lot of positives get built into the stock price. And the stock should then consolidate between this band of 2,700 to 3,000 rupees, I feel.
The day coming on Asian Paints. I'm just looking at SAML numbers there, and there obviously seems like a one-off, which is why you have that sharp uptick in the bottom line. The revenue, of course, is absolutely flat. We'll analyze those numbers because you can see a little bit of a sharp reaction coming on the earnings as well. But of course, there's more than what meets the eye. We will dig out more details, but after this very short break.